Och hjärtligt välkomna till Investor Update. Idag med Summa Defence, ett bolag som i morse släppte sin Q2-rapport för 2025. På länk från Pori, eller Björneborg, kommer vd Jussi Holopainen presentera resultatet, aktuella händelser och även kunna svara på frågor. Ni som tittar live kan som alltid då när vi sänder ställa frågor till vd och det gör ni då i chattrutan här. Vi kommer att hantera frågorna efter presentationen, men det kan vara bra att få in dem redan nu. Och om ni inte hinner få svar på er fråga så får ni vända er till bolaget. Så med det så vill jag bara säga att presentationen kommer att övergå på engelska och det är dags att hälsa Jussi välkommen. Hello Jussi, how are things? A busy morning I take it.
Yeah, hello and pleasure to be here. Thank you for asking. Of course, it's a busy morning as Summa Defence first half a year report came out. But on the other hand, that's the life of being listed company. So obviously there is a lot of interest what kind of numbers and information we are publishing. So that's how it goes.
Yeah. So without further ado, please take us through your presentation.
Thank you. So first of all, happy to be here as mentioned. In my presentation, I will go first through a little bit about what Summa is and what's the history of the Summa, and then raising up some highlights and maybe key elements from the first half of the year. As Summa was doing the revised listing, so the numbers are maybe not so easy to understand what's behind of those. So that's why I try to bit open up of those. But first of all, if we are looking the Summa Defence as a group, it's a group of companies, as you can see from the slide, considering the several different companies. If we start from the left side of the screen, so we have a Land and Tractors and Aquamec. So basically, this is a multi-purpose vehicle production facility located in southern part of the Finland with 20,000 square meters of production facilities, capabilities also to produce, of course, other type of vehicles than what you are seeing on the pictures. Nevertheless, there we have a long experience from the industry and also some deliveries in the past for the different military usages as well. Then next one comes to Nordic Yards, which is basically the shipyard unit of Summa Defence, where we have capabilities to build up the ships up to 100 meters from different materials as well, so metal and aluminum, to mention something. Again, we've been working with different authorities in the past many years and have a long references, track record from this business, and also the outlook, which I come a little bit later in the order book, looks very positive on the naval side of the businesses. Then on the next group company, what we have, LightSpace. This is a company founded and based in Latvia, making AR glasses for different kind of uses. And maybe here to highlight that we have a strong framework agreement with the Rheinmetall, where we developed together the view for the example for the tank commander's view to get more information during the combat missions. So here we see, of course, a big opportunity for us, as we all know the investments that are coming in the market and how much Germany and Rheinmetall are scaling up the production. Intlock is then a little bit smaller company, but very important as well. So producing the crisis management spaces for the different kind of needs, and overall, what I didn't mention at the beginning, we are talking comprehensive security. So not just defense, what happens in the battlefield, but also creating the resilience for the societies to able to be operative during the crisis situations as well. Then the next company, Summa Drones, which seems to be in the media, at least one of the most interesting companies. So here we have just announced as well that we have opened the production facilities in Finland, where we produce or have started our first batch of the drones with our Ukrainian partner. And test batches first, which we will test in Finland and Ukraine. But I would say our strong point here is that we have capabilities to produce and develop further many type of drones, and so we are not like focused on the one type of drones. We can provide with our partners several type, and not just flying, also the ground and naval type is in our focus. The last group company, Meriaura Energy or Summa Energy today, is heritage from Meriaura Group from this revised listing process. But it's also important part of the group, as we all know, in the crisis situations, you need to have capabilities to produce energy off-grid solutions as well. And what comes to the Synergies example with the Introduktion, there are clear synergy opportunities to develop these two companies further. Our business shortly, I mainly explain it already through the companies, but as we know in the modern battlefield, the situational awareness and the reaction for that, either it's mobility or defense protection, it's very important key element today. And as I mentioned, this comprehensive security, so security of supply, that's even more than important, as if you don't have the logistical support and other elements in place, the battlefield capabilities are not too long lasting. Growth drivers, geopolitical situation today is very challenging from many perspectives, but to highlight something, of course, Europe generally needs to stand up, and there's a lot of needs, not just in defense, where is also big needs, but also in the security side, like critical infrastructure, safety topics, and all other crisis management areas as well. NATO has decided to increase the spendings a lot, which will create more opportunities for Summa Defence. And generally, if we are looking at the war in Ukraine, I guess everyone hopes that will end as fast as possible, but we have to look further also. So even the war would and hopefully will end today, there is still a huge need for different countries to increase the capabilities and the materials in warehouses, and also the reconstruction, demining, etc. in Ukraine as well. So as mentioned many times already, we are operating and looking at companies which are dual-use companies, so can provide the solutions, products from both sides on the battlefield, but also in civil society. And we believe that there is a big need, and we have seen it, big need for the actor like Summa Defence in today's defense business environment. Summa Defence, one of the key driver for the growth. So we are the growth company definitely, and looking for the fast growth in future coming years as well. Is the M&A actions, operations, where we are seeing a lot of interesting companies. There are small, medium-sized companies which many have very good products and capabilities, but maybe they don't have enough resources to scale up, or enough financial background, or they don't have enough courage to go alone to grow. So Summa is offering excellent platform and support for these actions. Also, what's important for Summa when we are screening the companies which could be part of the Summa Defence in future, that the owners are committed to stay in the company and they see the growth opportunities. So we are not the way to do the exit for the entrepreneurs. We are way to accelerate the growth and find the new potential sales and growth opportunities. Then if we jump to the first half of the year, so as mentioned, this might be, if you look the official numbers, very difficult to understand what's actually behind of the company as do the revised listing Summa Defence is having in this first half of the year numbers still marine logistics from Meriaura numbers, which is divested from the business. Then we have a renewable energy full half a year as well, and only like 3 weeks from the middle of June until end of the June these Summa Defence daughter companies, which I explained at the beginning. So therefore it's important maybe to have a look of these pro forma numbers where we indicate how the Summa Defence as a group would be if it would be created 1st of January. That indicates the change and the direction where the company is going. So first of all, we have a strong financial position at the beginning or in the part of the listing process. We were raising investments 28 million euros into the company. Balance sheet in the end of the June, a bit over 300 million euros. Basically, the company is net debt free. So this gives us, of course, good position to continue the investments for the growth, which we have done heavily on the beginning of our journey. So we invested already for several new facilities to scale up the production. Same thing if we look now the pro forma net sales numbers. So this indicates 35% growth for the companies to compare to the 24 for the first half of the year. We have separated here the renewable energy which remains and came from Meriaura part of the transaction, and then we have these continuing operations on the left side, which shows these new Summa Defence daughter companies. So 35% growth. Of course, we are seeking more growth, but as the listing was executed just middle of the June, I would say the start is good, and we expect that the growth continues and continues faster than now. Profitability side, the background of some of the companies, the history has been difficult, challenging. There has been big losses on the past years. But again, here, if we look the pro forma numbers, we can see clearly that the turnaround has started to happen. It's partly happening, especially with the Summa Defence companies, which was presented at the beginning. We have some challenges. Of course, we have a group administrative costs on the top of that, and then renewable energy, where we clearly need to improve the profitability, and we have started change negotiations there to find the way to scale down the cost structure to make it positive, profitable business. And then if we look for the order backlog, 161 million euros. If this, and when we are comparing this to our current turnover, so of course it indicates the growth is continuing, and we are doing continuously, of course, the sales operations to increase it more, but the direction here as well is positive, and we see clear growth path also here. 300 million euro is a number which is a number from the history. So basically the deliveries what our daughter companies has delivered for the different defense and armed forces in the past. Just indicating here the references and background what we have from the history. So Summa, even as a group, is the new player in the market, but when we are looking through the daughter companies' histories, we can clearly see the references and the deliveries for defense segment, and of course we want to strengthen this and be stronger here as well. That was my fast, short presentation in a nutshell, and hopefully you got the key points, which I maybe would highlight one more time. So official numbers are maybe difficult to understand now due to this revised listing process, but when we deep dive into the Summa Defence daughter companies, we can clearly see the growth, we can see the turnaround on the profitability, and order backlog compared to the turnover is also in the good level. So we have all the elements ready for the next steps forward.
Well, thank you for that, Jussi. An interesting company with interesting subsidiaries in a very interesting environment. And we received a lot of questions here ahead, and we will just divulge a question as they come in. But my first question here is coming back to net debt situation, or net debt free, as it were. 8 subsidiaries, no net debt. Will you acquire more companies, or do you envisage that you will invest in the existing 8 subsidiaries?
Well, that's actually the both ways. So that's very good question. So as we are the growth company and we want to grow fast. So of course there is organic growth. Organic growth needs investments for the current companies. It needs support functions to speed up, to get forward. But same time we are screening the M&A activities non-stop. We have on the pipeline several companies which we are investigating and getting more, of course, all the time, and then some of processes not going either forward. But organic and non-organic growth are both very important for us.
Okay, and clinging on to the 8 subsidiaries here, and I expose my limited knowledge here, but would there be synergies as far as clients are concerned? Obviously, you are a Finnish company and you have delivered, some of the subsidiaries have delivered to the Finnish national defense, but will there be synergies in customer base?
Synergies, definitely there are synergies. Even if you have a quick look of the companies, it looks like those are all in different areas operating. If you look from obviously we want to benefit the connections and networks on the customer side, what we have, but also on the operational level, there are clear synergies between the companies. Not all, of course, between each others, but example, if we look from here, the LightSpace and Summa drones, so obviously the AR glass solutions are suitable also for the drone activities. Energy solutions compared to the Intlock crisis space solutions, there is a clearly need for energy when you have a off-grid accommodation example, etc. Also, when we are talking autonomous vehicles, which could be something produced by Lännen or could be also vessel. So there are connections for both for drones and Intlock products. So with deeper diving in, there is a clearly also this aspect which is important. Still, of course, we are seeking more, and all the companies have their own operations. Same time, so how we are building up the Summa Defence as a group is not only because that there have to be some synergies between companies. More, there have to be appetite for growth, good products, and then clearly opportunities are there to take.
So when I hear your answer here, also one could envisage that there would be some synergies to some point, at least in the R&D. If you mention the light and the drones, for instance, and the systems there, is that correct?
That's correct, of course, but main idea in Summa is that we are not like forcing all the companies. No. Okay, it would be difficult because they are so different, but we are not forcing the activities to put together. But when we see clear benefits for the both companies, then of course it makes sense to combine some of the activities which we actually have done it already. So.
All right. And you mentioned LightSpace and Rheinmetall. So just to clarify there, are you a sub-supplier to Rheinmetall, or are you cooperating with them in certain areas, or how does that work?
We have a frame agreement. It's a public information. That's why I can mention it here as well. Okay. So you can find it from the internet as well. So frame agreement to develop the view for example, for the combat vehicle commander, to have the information and visibility around the vehicle and get the needed information. So this is something what we have joined development project, and obviously as we are together developing it, when Rheinmetall's in future and now are doing heavy investments and production increase, so of course we expect that we will see that as well as a growth of Summa Defence.
Okay, interesting. And for those who are not aware, then obviously Rheinmetall is supplying the main battle tank, the Leopard, and obviously Germany has committed to increase its land forces there. If we look at the competition here, and also coming back to the subsidiaries, you compete in every areas, or are there more Summa Defences out there, if you understand my question?
I think we compete mainly with the separate entities. So I haven't. Of course, in the market you have a big players on the defense segment, but we are a little bit different type of actor. We are quite fast and flexible to create different kind of competition advantages for us. These daughter companies, of course, there are some cases when we are talking smaller purchase processes. The mainly competition is with the local other companies. Other hand, when we are talking then the bigger deliveries, of course, we are meeting the international companies as well. It's very difficult to indicate just one company who would be our main competitor. I don't think so that's existing. And in many cases also there is clear cooperation possibilities or sales opportunities for us with the big players as well. So that's in many levels actually our sales works.
And high growth, you aim for high growth. It's a high growth sector. What are the bottlenecks you experience so far?
If we look to the market, of course, there is a high demand at the moment, but in the same time, if we talk clearly only the defense side, we all know that it's long purchase processes, it's governmental cases in many cases, so there's no fast road to win those deals. Those needs time, those needs trust, those needs quality products. But clearly the need is there, and there is not enough companies to provide the services. What's the needs at the moment in the market? But here comes also the reason why I'm talking the comprehensive security. I'm talking the dual use product. So with the same products, we can also compete in the civil market. There can be critical infrastructure competitions. There can be some other civil society needs, where with very small modification, the similar products are fitting very well. So this is a faster way to increase the growth, of course. But as said, we are advancing it in the both ways.
And I got some questions here regarding the drones here. Let's see here. What are the planning for the maritime section? Seeing how you have access to not one but two sites for production and of the smaller boats and maritime drones. I don't know how much you can elaborate on that, but drones are red hot in this area. So.
Of course, and I understand it. We can clearly see that the war in Ukraine has shown us the drone and generally the autonomous vehicles, either it's flying, ground going, or sea drone, that has have a high technological leap forward. We have started now our drone production with the flying drones, so copter type of drones. But of course, having the strong company on the naval side, Nordic Yards, clearly we have ideas and high interest also for the naval drone development. As in the end of the day, the knowledge of controlling and operating the drone is similar, even it's flying or going in the sea. So definitely very interesting area, and time will show where we end up on that.
Yes, and I would assume that one has to watch the press releases here, and that's a segue to another question. You mentioned the strong order book, but given the nature of the clients, particularly when it comes to defense, the contracts may be over a long period of time, I take it. How will you communicate to the market the order book, and what can you say? Basically, what I'm driving off here is that there are some sort of restrictions on what you can communicate. For instance, if you have a deal with the Finnish defense minister, or indeed the Swedish, or the German. How would you walk that tightrope?
Well, you are definitely right on that when it comes to the sensitive information, that's not allowed to communicate. But on the other hand, we have to follow the rules of NASDAQ as well and communicate to the market what's possible. So normally how we will communicate the order book and then the bigger orders, at least there is when it's big enough, there is a volume, like how many millions we are talking, then there can be the length of the delivery, not in all cases, because that's also varying a lot between the companies. If we talk again like a naval deliveries on the shipbuilding, everyone understands the shipbuilding takes some years, or a couple of years at least. But when we are talking delivering the drones or maybe the multifunctional machines from Landing Tractors or Aquamech, the delivery time is much shorter. So we are talking some months or even some weeks. So that's of course challenge to communicate, but we try to balance it so that the investors are happy and getting enough information. But on the other hand, we have to keep the good relationship with our clients as well.
And if we look at the let's say the stickiness of the business and the length of it, you recently announced a deal between Intlog and the Finnish defense sector for non-heated room house training facilities. How did you win that order? Was it a tender order, and was it in competition with many others? And the follow-up question would be, if it's a tender, are you able to bid on, let's say, training facilities in Germany or in Italy and Sweden?
Yeah, many times when we are producing or offering something for the authorities, those are tender processes which are open for many competitors. So definitely when we have won this, it creates a reference and creates the sales opportunity also for Germany or any country in Europe, definitely. But when we go to the civil segment, then the sales process, as mentioned, a bit different. It's faster processes, but again, the references from the defense industry are very important.
And I take it let's say the contract with the defense sector would be fairly sticky, because it will be over a long time, and the payments installments will be pretty secure, I take it. Yeah. Thank you for that, Jussi. And the next news for you, apart from the next coming quarter, what would you like us in the market to look for as far as Summa Defence is concerned in the coming quarter year?
Well, I would like to see not just market to look. I like to see that how the company is developing further. So of course we are seeking strong growth. So growth indicators have to be up. Profitability turnaround in the companies need to be strengthened. It needs to be going to the better direction. So those are of course important. And then of course the order backlogs that we have a solid order backlog which indicates compared to the turnover that net sales that we are growing. So those things I would recommend to have a deeper look, and hopefully the quarter 3 numbers are a bit more easier to understand then, because that's the first solid numbers as a Summa Defence, which is not mixed from the historical numbers from Merial.
So more clarity ahead would be the message there. Right, Jussi, thank you very much. Extremely educational and very exciting area here. So thank you. And we'll say thank you to all you listeners and those who have asked questions. So see you later and thank you.
Thank you.